Well, welcome on in. This is a very, very special episode of the PWHL Puck Drop podcast. And as you can see, we have a very special VIP guest with us today. And I'm beyond thrilled to welcome in Cheryl Pounder, who is well known to all of you. Of course, she is TSN hockey analyst, announcer, gold medal winner, world championship gold medal winner, and coach and mom and PWHL historic announcer. Hi, Cheryl. How are you? And thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for the introduction. It's great, actually. In the off season, I might be a little bit more tanned right now, and that's why I'm also
Mhm.
wearing the hat, just making sure that you're covering up the sun straw hair. But no, it's enjoying the off season, enjoying the baseball diamonds and the lacrosse fields, but obviously coming off of a historic year in the PWHL, and it was a ton of fun, and such memorable moments for me and my family. Anytime I go back and watch or I think about it, it really is surreal that it has come to fruition. It is here, it is happening, and really stoked about the second season.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, it's kind of funny that it's been a while. Some of it's still fresh, but we're about to go over the top 10 moments. And I think we both kind of realized like some of it's gotten a little fuzzy just from, so the first year was so full of historic moments. And, overall, I'm sure you enjoyed it, and are you even more excited for the second year? Are you just feeling like bigger and better? I really liked one thing you said, like now we get to talk about the hockey, all the historic firsts kind of happened, and now it's about the hockey.
Well, yeah, and I think that's a big thing, right? And when I think about the moments, obviously a lot of momentous moments that I'll never forget, certainly with having my girls there. But whether it's the little girls in the stands and you're focusing on them, now it's to me, it is about the hockey. It's about showing what these women can do, their skill sets, the way they play the game, their speed, their shots, the way they see the game and the ice and the parity within it, within these six teams. So for me, I'm really excited about just talking hockey. Sharing some of the stories about these women, but getting back to ice level and just showcasing what they're made of and their capabilities, of course, coming in off that second draft, just the talent that is also flooded into these teams. I think you're going to see more depth. So I'm really excited about the pace of the game, the physicality, all of it really, and just kind of building off the hype of season number one.
Yeah, I agree. I was at the draft and I mean, it's going to be noticeably, I mean, roughly we'll say, every team kind of their fourth line might be upgraded to, or mix and match, but like they basically a whole line and D pair is going to be added to each team of very high quality. So, if we thought it was good the first year, the quality is going to get really, really competitive. And there are more European players coming. So, and we'll get names and logos, of course, everybody, everybody can't wait for that. So without further ado, let's just jump in. We want to do the top 10 moments, and thank you to our listeners for helping us kind of with suggestions for these. It was hard to hit them all, and
Yeah.
spoiler alert, there might, if you're keeping count, there might or might not be more than 10, but we'll see what we get to. And we're going to go in chronological order, and I'm so excited to get your thoughts and memories on all of these moments. So let's just kick it off with moment number one, literally game number one, 1st of January at the Mattamy Center in Toronto. And this was a game that you were at. You were on the call with Daniela Ponticelli, and your friend Jana Hefford was at center ice dropping the puck, and it was New York at Toronto. What are your memories about that one?
Well, this was an emotional one for me, and because actually, where I was calling the game, there's a number of people that walk in behind you, as you know, and I allowed myself to stay outside the curtain. What I mean by that, not just stay in the booth, because I wanted to see all the people in the building. I wanted to be a part of the game, not just on the call. And it was interesting. I watched alumni walk in. I watched some of my former teammates and friends. And then when they came out there and Billie Jean King and Jana Hefford dropped that puck, I thought about my daughters in the stands. I thought about just sort of the journey to that moment and having a sold out building, I remember saying to Daniela, I really hope that they look above the glass. And the reason why I said that was because so often in life and as an athlete or in whatever you do, you focus on the task at hand. And sometimes you want to make sure you maintain that focus to put in your best performance. You're dialed in as an athlete. And sometimes in life, you've got to just take it all in,
Yeah.
right? Just really breathe in, soak in that moment. And it happened. And so there was a lot of emotion attached to it on the ice, off the ice. And after years of forging ahead for a moment like this, when it actually happens, it's not an aha moment. It's just an emotion. Your body it just kind of happens to you. You flood, and it's expressed in how loud you speak. Perhaps I was loud on that call, louder than I normally am, just because it was just such an energy and such a passion that it finally happened, and you felt like just giving a massive fist pump and saying, everyone, they've done it, and they've stood on the back of other leagues and foundational players and pioneers within the game to get to that point. And these women are living the moment where they are playing professional hockey. They're going to be paid, and we're only going to see, I think, it go from there. And of course, Ella Shelton from Ingersoll,
Of
Ontario, getting
course.
the first ever goal, and just knowing that moment is hers, her family's, and of course, I believe the puck, maybe the stick, even went to the Hockey
Mhm.
Hall of Fame, was certainly symbolic. And what an athlete! I mean, she's an athlete, and just a great person as well. So an ambassador for the sport, but one heck of a hockey player and defender as well. So throwing that puck to the net, sometimes good things happen, and as a result, it's a historic moment that has her name attached to it forever.
Yeah, we've heard you say that before. Throw it to the net, good things happen. And yeah, that it seemed appropriate. She also scored the first goal at the All-Star game, which was like, I don't know, she's got the magic touch for sure. She had a great year, but I love what you just said about taking in the moment because the whole first year was a bit of a balance. It was like every first thing was the first thing, the first goal, the first penalty shot, the first hat trick. And as you were wise enough to notice and observe, at some point, some of those fell away. Thank goodness, up to a point, thank goodness, because then we could just kind of say, what a great hockey play.
Well,
But in the
yeah.
beginning, it was just about taking it in.
Well, and I think those are the moments that you have to appreciate and you do have to take in, and you've got to celebrate, right? Because I think it's taken time. And as mentioned, it's been built on other leagues. It's been built on dreams and people who, sacrifice, including these women. I mean, sacrificed a lot to be in that moment. So I think it is very emotional. And there are times where you do have to take it in. And I remember a sports psychologist saying to me when I got to my first ever Olympics, like, put away the camera and the cell phone. And I was like, what are you talking about? Now I'm old, I'm archaic. So, it's not like your phones are readily available. But he said, I want you to take in and live the moment. And I think sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to be present. You have to live that moment. And there were a lot of firsts, but the reason why I did say I'm kind of happy the firsts are over is because when the firsts are over, you're you've kind of put it behind you in the fact that we did it, and now we're
Yeah.
forging ahead.
Yeah.
And so you take that time to appreciate, to celebrate, to do all of those things. But now as we move forward, it's about the game, and it's about, how amazing these athletes are at their craft. And yeah, and that's what we love to talk about. So it was a momentous year. There's historic moments that I think will forever be etched in my brain. That will live with me, and that's saying something as well. And even as a broadcaster, a couple times I did take the moment to just breathe it in and take it in and soak it in, maybe be a little less technical because I
Yeah.
just wanted to appreciate where I was in that moment, not for myself, but for all these other athletes and for the next generation, and also the many generations before that had the dream. So yeah, so real emotional, and proud moments along the way.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Everybody has their perspective on it, depending sort of where they came, where they came up. And, you know, I was lucky enough to play university hockey, but that was about it. But I'm one of those ones that got dressed in the other room and those kinds of things. So, to sit there and appreciate that this is even possible is just overwhelming. And
And
everybody, I think, has their their perspective and viewpoint on it.
And I love that you mentioned perspective, because for me, at the end of the day, hockey is played at all different levels, but the passion remains the same. It doesn't matter whether you're a house league player or you're the highest level player. When you are passionate about it, you want to watch it, you enjoy it, you love it. And so those feelings and emotions are the same for everyone, even though everyone's played at different levels. And so it's just an opportunity for all of us, no matter what level you play, to enjoy the game at the highest level and to watch it. So I think that's a big thing for me is, when I talk to young girls, it doesn't matter whether, they're playing, for fun or they're playing for a competitive edge, that they have an opportunity to watch and to
Yeah.
say, that's my favorite player. And wow, look at that play. And so I don't know. I just think, when we talk about hockey, it really is about everyone who is entrenched in the game, not just those who play at the highest level with the hope and aspiration of
Yep.
going to the PWHL. It's also for the ones that just love the damn game.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important. Perspective is critical.
Yeah. And boys, when Becky was
Yeah.
on, this isn't just for girls, although it's great. And everybody says this is for the little girls. And then there's a much wider circle
Oh,
of big, little, every gender, age, heritage, play the sport, don't play the sport, new, old to the sport, all of it. The more hockey, the better.
I've
And
had so many men come up to me. I remember during the playoffs, I went into a pub and it was on, and the manager came over to me, and I'd never met him before, and was like, "Hey, we're gonna put it on the big screen." I'm like, "Okay, you should,"
yeah,
and he was talking to me about, Natalie Spooner, and he knew the names. And so, I remember going to a baseball game in May with one of my daughters, and all of a sudden, I see a jersey being worn by a gentleman walking into Subway, and so I'm just like,
nice.
this is when that the Kool-Aid is being drunk by
Yeah,
multiple people. And so that's really a success story, is when, it is for everyone. And now all of a sudden you can see it and it's visible, and it's your choice to turn the channel or not.
yeah,
But because it's visible, it's out there, and that's what we're seeing. And sort of, so that expansive momentum is awesome to see, and from all different walks of life, and which is really amazing.